Hi everyone, welcome to Needful Things again. Today we're going to get started on our new throw project, which is going to be 40 by 50, and we're going to work it in a horizontal pattern, and then it's going to be displayed vertically. So we're going to do 40 wide and 50 tall inches to be 40 by 50. So again, you can send it to Boggy Creek if you want to. And we're using all these beautiful orangey sherbet sorbet colors. So we'll put them all together and make something really beautiful. And so I'm going to get you started here with this. It's I have one Caron yarn. It's all 4-weight. It's just a bunch of yarn I have here. So we're going to start here, and you have to have a odd number. And to do this blanket, to have it the right number, we're going to do 145 chains. But I'm just going to do a little sample here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an odd number. Put your finger on the 9th one and hold it there. Chain one more, yarn over, go into that 9th one that you had your finger on, and do your first half double. Oh, I meant to tell you, we're going to do them in the back row. So let me get my pretty chains back here. Sorry about that. I forgot to tell you we're doing back loops only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Put your fingers on the 9th one. Do one more. Chain one more. Yarn over. Go into that 9th chain. Oh, sorry, I did it again in the back loop. That little back bump. And do a half double crochet. Yarn over. Turn your chain over and go on that little back bump. Half double. That little back bump is right there. And you just go down your row. Get some more yarn out of here. Like this. Oops, I don't know what that was about. Go, remember, going in the back bumps only, not the front loops, but that little back bump for your half double crochet. In your first row is half double crochet, and when you get through, you'll have 145 stitches in your row. I'm just doing a sample here. Pretend that's 145 stitches. I know it's only 9. So when you get your 145 stitches, it's, it looks like this. Okay. So then we will chain 1 and turn, and we're going to work all these sections. When we're doing this part, we're going to be in the back loops. So we're going to we chained 1, now go in the back loop. Pull a loop through and slip stitch. Back loop, slip stitch. Back loop, slip stitch. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. All the way across, we're going to slip stitch in our 145 stitches, or your 9 stitches if you're just working the sample. Chain 1 and turn. And you're going to repeat this slip stitch row 5 times. That's 2. Back loops only. Chain 1 and turn. Give it a little stretchy poo. Okay. 4. It's row 4. Of the slip stitches. Chain 1 and turn. This is our last row of slip stitches, row 5. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we'll still be working in the back loops, and we'll do half double crochets all the way down the row. There should be 9 in your sample. And 9. That's what we're doing. That's what we just did. And so when you work it this way, horizontal, and then we're going to show it vertical, like this. So it gives you sort of a knit look. And there's the back side. And then, as always, I would put a marker in here on this. On my front, what will be my front side, so I always know where that is. I know this is going to be my front. Just put a little marker in there. And then we're going to repeat this, I think 3 times. We're going to repeat this a few times. I'll let you know exactly how many. So I want you to get started, and I'm going to get started on this piece that I have going here. And I have so I'm at the end of my 145 half double crochets, and you do it in that back loop so you get that nice edge. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn and start the slip stitches like I just showed you. There'll be 145 of them, so that'll take a little bit of time. And like I said, we're going to do 5 rows of the slip stitches, and then 1 more row of half double crochets, just like I showed you on the sample. And I'm working with different variegated colors, so they will change colors as I work, but they all go together, so it'll make a nice little sherbet blanket. Give it a nice little stretch, and that's what we're doing. I'm just going to do 5 rows of the slip stitches, and I'll check back in with you. Okay, so I've run out of this section of my yarn, so I'm going to have to add some yarn. Just do that very quickly. And I've done my 1 row of half doubles, 5 rows of slip stitches, and now I'm doing my row of half double crochets, coming near to the end of this row. And remember that we're doing all of this in the back loops. All of these stitches are in the back loops. And every time we get to this particular type section, they will all be in the back loops. Excuse me. And this little section is measuring about 2 inches wide. And we're going to 40 inches. But we're going to change our pattern. So now we're at the end of that. Isn't that pretty? And so it kind of mimics knitting. So now we've done our row of half double crochets. We're at the end of that row. Chain 1, turn your work. This is the back side. This is the front. That's the front. That's the back. So we're on the back side now. And we're going to start another section of the slip stitches. We'll do 5 rows of slip stitches here. We've chained 1, so that first stitch is slip stitch. 5 rows. This is row 1 of our slip stitches. If you find it difficult to keep count of your rows of slip stitches, you can use a counter. If you don't have a counter, you can just write it down on a piece of paper. Row 1, row 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're just doing our slip stitches 5 rows, just like we did previously. And then we'll do another row of half double crochets after we get through with our 5 rows of slip stitches. So I'm going to do my 5 rows of slip stitches, and then I'll come back to you when we get to the half double crochet row. Okay? And remember, we're doing all of this in the back loops. Okay, so continue in that pattern, and I'll meet up with you when we get back to our next row of half double crochets. Okay, so I'm back to show you what we're going to do next on our throw. We've done the first row of half double crochets, then 5 rows of slip stitches, a row of half double crochet, 5 rows of slip stitches, half double crochet row, a row of 5 slip stitch rows, and the last row here is half double crochets. And we finish on the front side of our work. So now we're going to do a little cage section. So we're going to chain 5. Chain 5, turn your work. Now this time we're going to be using double crochets here. So yarn over, and then we're going to count this first one as this is the first 3 of that is a stitch, and then 2 chains will be in there. Okay, so that's why we did 5. And so that counts as a stitch there, that first one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet. 1, 2, because see we have those 3 counts as the first double crochet, and then we have 2 chains. Now we have double crochet, 2 chains. Count from the double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, start at that double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what we're going to do across the entire row, and you should have had 145 stitches here. And just so you know, if you've measured this piece vertically or horizontally, either way, it's about 40 inches, because when we're done we're going to do a border on the bottom and the top edge, which is going to be about 4 to 5 inches. Very simple, easy, quick border, but it'll be very effective. So we're going to continue down this row, doing our cage. I can just call it little cages, squares, whatever. Chain 2, yarn over, starting from that double, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to just do this all the way across the row. And don't get complacent with these little squares now, because while they are simple, you can make a mistake. And when you get to the end, you'll be like, wait a minute, I'm missing a stitch, or I got a stitch too many. You could have, done something in here somewhere, or maybe you just don't have enough stitch. Your stitch count is off. You have to figure that out. So that's what we're going to do. And I like to give everything a little stretch to help it find its way. But that's what we're going to do. So we're on the back side doing our first row. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to go off camera to finish this first row and show you what we're going to do on the second row. Okay, so I'm going to work across my row and meet you at the end. Whoops. Okay, so I'll check back up with you when we get near the end. Okay, so I'm at the end of my last stitch. And you got, oh no, there's only two. No, there's three. There's that one on the end. So we did our double, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the very end. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And turn your work. Like so. Give it a little stretchy poo. So we've turned our work. Chain 5. Just like this is what you should have. And now remember that chain, 3 of those chains are your first stitch. And then 2 are the 2 in between. Okay. So we're going to yarn over and go right into this stitch here for your double crochet. Chain 2. Go into the top of the next double crochet, chain 2, go to the next top of the double crochet, chain 2, double crochet on top of the double crochet previously done, chain 2, and continue across the row like this, all the way across the row, and you'll have the little cages there. And I'll meet up with you when we get to the end of the row. Okay, so I'm at the end of this row, my second row of my little cages. Getting to the end. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the top of the previous, chain 2, and at the end we have our 5 chains, so we know we have 3 of those are 1, 2, 3, and then we have our 2 there, so we're going to yarn over, go into our third chain, and do a double crochet to finish the row. Okay, now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn your work. Now we're working on the back side of our work. And we're just going to repeat the same process. Double crochet in that second, like that first 3 chains counts as your double there, and then the 2 chains, and then now we're on a double. Chain 2, double crochet on top of the previous, chain 2, same thing we just did, just like that. So now on the third row, so do I'll have to see how this is measuring, because right here we're at 2. So do 5 rows of this and we'll come back and I'll see if I want to do a 6th row. I'm not sure yet, probably will, but let's do 5 for now. So do 5 rows of this and I'll see you back in a second. Okay, so I finished up my cage row. I'm going to call it the cage row. the squares. I've chained one, and now I'm going to turn my work, and I'm back on the front side of my work, as you can see. Looking beautiful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've turned our work, chained one and turned, and in that very first stitch we're back to our half double crochets. In that very first stitch, half double. In this little space here you have those 2 stitches, and I'm going into the stitch, the back loop. Well, you don't have to go in the back loop, that would just make it crazy. So I'll give you an option. How about that? You can go into the stitch, just like that. 1, 2, go into the next crochet stitch and do your half double there. And so the thing is, you got to get 1 stitch on the end, 2 stitches in each space. You'll do 2 stitches. Then you'll do your half double. We're back on half doubles again. Don't forget, because I just did. Then we'll do a half double, then 2 stitches here. You can either do it around it or through the stitch. That's totally up to you. It'll be fine either way. Because all we're doing is transitioning back to this. We're just transitioning here back to this. So we need our row of half double crochets. Okay? So that's what we're doing. Half double crochets. And if you want to do it around it, it looks like this. There's the difference. This one's in the stitch. This one is around the stitch. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Okay? I'm doing it in the stitch, so you can do it however you please, as long as you get across there. So now we're going into the stitch. Half double, whoops, slipped right out. Half double, 1, 2 in that chain space. Well, and then another half double on top of that double crochet there. Half double in the stitch, the chain stitch. Half double in the chain stitch. Half double on top of the previous double crochet. And so that's what we're doing across the row, just like this. And we're just transitioning to this half double crochet row. So basically we're starting our pattern again here, like we did here with the double crochet, and then you'll do the same amount of rows we did here. This is 1, each one of these is 5 rows, 5, 10, 15 rows of the slip stitches, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of the double crochets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of our chain spaces, and then back to the half doubles, and repeating the process until we get all the way across our section. And that's what it's looking like at this point. It's really pretty, huh? It's going to be a beautiful throw. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll just keep going a little bit so you can watch. The important thing is that you end up with 145 stitches. And if you have more, then you've done something. You need to find out what it is. So a stitch counter would be good at this point. You know, this is a good row to count your stitches on. So as you see, it's not a difficult throw to make. It has some tedious stitches in it, but that's rewarding, I think. If everything is easy, then what fun is that? You're not really learning. And I want you to learn. I want you to be able to sit down and be like, I can do whatever I want too. And eventually you will. But this is a really nice pattern, especially the beginning stitches, rows. You know, I like to give it a little stretch out. Because if you like knitting, and you can knit, but you really don't enjoy it, which I'm that person. I like things that look like knitting, but I just don't enjoy it. So this looks like knitting, but without the problems. So continue across doing your 145 half double crochets. Then you'll do 5 slip stitches, half double, 5 slip stitches, rows, half double, 5 slip stitch rows, and then you'll be back to your last row here. And I'll check up with you when we get this next section of this done. Because you can just go back to the beginning and repeat the same process to do what we're working on now. This section is just like this section. Then the next section after that will be just like this section. And I will meet up with you when I get this one done. Okay, so I've done a few rows of mine, and I've gotten several panels. I need to do 3 more of this panel here, and I need to do 2 more of the square sections, and then I'll be done. So this is what it's looking like. It's really beautiful. And this ombre yarn just really comes out really pretty. I love this ombre yarn. It's such a soft, you know, transition into the next color for the colorway. So I've got to do 3 more sections of this stitch and 2 more of the square sections. And then I'll be at about 40 inches, I think. 40 inches wide. And then we've got to do our border on the ends. We do one on the bottom and one on the top. So I'll show you how to do that. And currently I'm finishing up my row of half double crochets to finish this section. So that's the row I'm on now. And your work should be looking like the same as mine. I mean, your color might be different, or you might have used a larger hook or made a bigger size, but it should still look like this. So I'm just doing my half double crochets to finish out my last row in this panel, or this section of the pattern. And then after this row, of course, I'll be moving on to the squares row. And I'll just show you starting that row again, just in case you need a little refresher, okay? So I'll catch up with you at the end of this row. Okay, so I've done my chain 1 and turned my work. And I'm going to start working on my little cages, or the square section. So we got a chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Remember, we're counting that first one every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2. That counts again, the one we just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of reminds me of filet crochet, where you count the same stitch twice. You're making squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, these are double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to finish, I've got to do 3 more of these panels with the knit looking stitches here. 3 more of these panels. And then I have to do 2 more square sections. So I'm going to get that done and come back and then show you how we're going to end our project. Okay, so I've got my piece as large as I want it to be. I hope you have yours as large as you want it to be. Now when you start on the other end, we're going to do the, across both ends, we're just going to do a single crochet. And you'll start on the front of your work. Okay. And that's what we're doing this piece here. It's just half double crochets and slip stitches. So to get that started, we're going to go to our end. I'm taking the color that I'm using, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch. And I'm going to go into that first stitch, which would have been that last half double crochet row. And then what we're going to do is, in each of these knit stitches, you see, you can go into the stitch. So we're just going to go into that little V. I'm going to get my tail in there at the same time. That's 2, 3. There's a knit stitch there. Just go right into the knit stitch. Pull up your single crochet. And in the half double crochet rows, I'm going under the stitch, actually into the top of the stitch there, to get my single. And then we have the 3 knit stitches. And in the half double crochet row through that top of that stitch there, like that, we're just going to do our single. And then we're in the knit stitches. Half double crochet row, pull it through the top of that one, the 2 top bars. Then when we get to our square sections, we're going to do 2 inside each square and then 1 on this actual line here, this stitch. So we're going to go into the space, single crochet, and then that space there is a single crochet, like that. Into the space, single crochet, 2 times in each space, 1 in the stitch there. And we're just going to do that all the way across the row till we get to the end. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. So I'll catch up with you when we get to the end of this row. Okay, so I've done my singles all the way across the end to give me a foundation row. So I'm at the end of that. And what we're going to do here, now on the other end we didn't have to tie on our yarn or join our yarn because we just continued. Because when you finish on the piece, you'll end on a half double crochet row on the front, here, here. This side you'll end on the front, and you'll just continue up on that side with your yarn that you're already working with here, if that makes sense. So now we're on the other end where we had to join our yarn. So we've gotten across, so we're going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now we're going to go down this row in the back bumps. The back bump of the stitch, single crochet. There's 11. And there's 12. Okay, so we're going to turn our work. There's our 12. Now we're going to connect. We're here. So we're going to do a chain, slip stitch here, slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay. Then we're going to turn this way, away from the work. We're going to skip the first two, 1, 2, half double crochets, 1. Oh, you know what? Check these out. Sorry about that. I meant to do half double crochets. Sorry. I get carried away. So we're doing half double crochets down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 half double crochets. Now we're at our blanket. We're going to connect into that next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch. Turn your work so it faces away from the blanket that way. Yarn over, skip the first two, 1, 2. That's where we put those slip stitches. And do another row of 12 half double crochets in the back loops only. All this is worked in the back loops only. Chain 1, turn your work back this way. Now on this one, we're going to go in the back loops and we're going to do slip stitches all the way down. 12. In the back loops. Now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, turn, yarn over and skip 2, 1, 2, skip those first 2, 1, 2, go into the third one, half double crochet all the way down, 12 stitches, and 12, chain 1. Now we're going to go all the way down this row, on the top of this row in the back loops, doing slip stitches, 1, and 12. Go into the next stitch, do a slip stitch, 1, next stitch, slip stitch 2, yarn over. Now we'll do a row of half double crochet, skip the first 2, 1, 2, into that third one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Chain 1, turn, and we're going to go down to our slip stitch row. And so this is what you're doing. We're making a nice ribbon, so we'll do one row of half doubles, one row of slip stitches, half doubles, slip stitches, half doubles, slip stitches all the way across. So there's a half double row, a slip stitch row, a half double row, the next one will be a slip stitch, all in the back loops, like so. There's 2 loops there, but there's one behind it, that's the one. These are the slip stitches. It's what gives us that knitted ribbing look. See? So continue that all the way across. Remember, always slip stitch in the next 2, the next 2, the next 2. And I'll catch up with you when we get to the end of this. And you'll just do it all the way across both ends of your blanket the same way. So like I said, on the other end, you won't have to attach your yarn. It's already there. So that was the slip stitch row. So now we're on a half double crochet row. Skip the first 2 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and make sure you're in the back loop. There's a back loop back there. And 12, chain 1 and turn. Now we're on a slip stitch row, and we're just going to do that all the way across, and I'll catch up with you when we get to the other side. Okay, so I'm finishing up my ribbing on this end of my throw, So I just did the half double, so now we're doing the slip stitches. Twelve. And we'll slip stitch into the next two. Flip that back over. Now we're doing our half doubles. 1, 2, skip those two. 1, 2, go in the back loops. And we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're head this way, we're going to flip it back this way. For our slip stitches. That one likes to hide. Now we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to turn our work back this way. Yarn over, skip 2, 1, 2, going to the third. Back loops, half double crochet. Chain 1, turn your work, slip stitch. Oops. There's only one left here, so I'm going to like push it closer to the edge. I'm just going to do a little one here and just get it closer to the edge with the second one. And then finish with a row of half doubles. Skip those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, and 12. Okay. Let me get my scissors. Okay, I've got my scissors. We're going to cut our yarn. Secure it. And then I'm just going to run it down the side here. That's done. I'll get this piece that was here. And we're done with our beautiful scarf. Scarf. Big scarf, huh? With our throw. And you'll do the same on both ends, as I said earlier. That's your ends. Okay, I hope you enjoy this pattern. It really is a lot of fun.